Twitch completely fucked over YouTube, VTubers. So I know already most of the stuff, but again, a lot of people do not know. A lot of people who aren't VTubers do or in the VTuber community do not know. But basically, Twitch updated their TOS, and what basically happened is they now have double standards for VTubers and double standard for IRL female streamers. But we'll go over it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rip here. So today we're going to talk about Twitch because yesterday they came out and clarified some of their enforcement policies, and right now it is obvious more than ever that they have it out for VTubers, which is ironic because only a week ago we saw Iron Mouse shatter the all-time.
The people seething because of Iron Mouse is insane. People saying she's AI, people saying she's just a PNG, people saying she's like what else? People like saying, hey, she doesn't have that sickness, and she's just a man with a voice changer and stuff. Like people like literally like exploding for the first time encountering a VTuber, pretty much, which is interesting to see. That just goes to show that VTubing is still a niche.
Sub record, and yet VTubers are still being treated second rate, especially when it comes to the enforcement of the site's policies. We've seen recently Zentreya get a warning on her account for sexual themes because she wore a one-piece swimsuit for a brief moment. Meanwhile,
the hips, the VTuber hips. Basically, you can't show hips, and this is censored. What this pretty much is, this chick is having a hot tub stream while sitting on a glass chair, or like a plastic chair, glass chair, whatever you want, while a camera films her bottom, and like her what do you call it? Her hold, pretty much.
slop like this is being recommended by the platform, where you have people bending the rules, these face cammers who are just crudely.
Remember, these are in its core just glorified sex workers, nothing more. If you would push these people out of Twitch, they would make $180 on OnlyFans a month, or like nothing at all. And remember, this platform is for 13 plus. Remember that.
Placing an inflatable pool in the corner of the room, calling it a pool stream, and then using that to wear basically micro bikinis. And then on the right, I can't even show you, a camera that is focused on her behind, where she's wearing a thong, and the camera lens is pressed up against her so deep it's practically touching her colon at this point. But this is allowed, but the other stuff with VTubers is highly contested and often punished for
pretty
very
much.
draconian.
This sums up Twitch pretty well right now. Pretty well. And like I've seen a lot of other like VTubers getting nuked off the platform, and like Twitch using that controversy to like you know, make like a kick VTuber asset and stuff. It's interesting to see. Now I don't think VTubers will go over to Kick, because like Kick is just a much worse version. Like when it comes to the users, not the platform itself, but the users. It's just a much worse version of Twitch, pretty much.
Ways, and it's always been obvious that they have preferential treatment for cam girls versus VTubers, but now it's more obvious than ever. And now with these clarifications, we have this objective reality where it seems like what's on the left here is less likely to get banned than what's on the right.
Oh yeah, this is Shondo. So the problem is here now, and they have updated it as well. VTubers who look like this can no longer make any like lewd jokes, pretty much. Now I don't like it. The people make like the people are too overly sexual in general. I don't watch it. It's just like off-putting. But they still should be allowed to do it. Problem being that VTubers that look like this can't do this, or they get banned because they look too close to children. Interesting.
So yesterday, Twitch came out with these clarifications. These are not any new rules or anything like that.
And remember, when asked, they cannot even provide a visual representation of what is okay and what isn't. But I guess even if they did so, you would still get banned.
It's more clarification and examples of things that may or may not violate their rules, and it really just shows the kind of stuff they've been doing behind the scenes and the bans that people have received without understanding the reason as to why. So let's begin with this right here. This is the most relevant one for VTubers, and I think this is going to be abused by a lot of Twitch moderators and people who are part of that team. I think they're going to use this to take it out and ban multiple VTubers that they don't like.
Pretty much. Bro is in danger, by the way. Bro is in danger. Taiga is in danger again. He's gonna get clapped on Twitch next. So yeah, the problem. So basically, lollies and shoulders. You're gone. You're reduced to atoms if you do anything like 18 plus. You're like wiped off the platform. It's interesting because if I remember correctly, I think CEO of Twitch was caught having a lot of those what is the word? Those cam girls like watching. And it's interesting to see that they now have again updated something which is oddly specific. You are no longer allowed to have like suggest the idea that Twitch might receive sexual favors of their cam girls. Again, interesting to see.
Like, they can use this, it's very exploitative, and I'll explain why. So it says this: depicting fictional anime characters of childlike appearances, lollies, and shotas with any type of sexual framing is not allowed. This applies to VTubers and within games where avatars are uploaded, such as VR chat, with childlike
Also, interestingly enough, VR chat. Fairly new characters are allowed. VTubers, fairly new, are not allowed. There is clearly an agenda against VTubers. You cannot. There is, with a 1,000,000% chance, an actual agenda against VTubers.
Avatars, even if the broadcaster and operator of the avatar is above the age of 18. So right off the bat, you know you're dealing with a difficult rule when it's very subjective. What does childlike really mean, generally speaking? Because does that include hairstyles, outfits, petite, models? Are those
the chest size of consent, the height of consent, the eyes of consent, the face of consent, the height of consent? What do we have? The hair of consent?
things considered childlike? Well, it might change from one person to the other, but the other issue here is that they're using the phrases lollies and shotas, where I would guess that a lot of Twitch staff don't understand the proper definition of those terms. It has nothing to do with age or anything like that. That's why characters like Rebecca from Cyberpunk are a lolly, and a lot of people go, wait, she's like in her 20s. Well, yeah, these terms have nothing to do with age. It's just a petite body type with cute characteristics. That's why the creators themselves refer to characters like Rebecca as a lolly. And hysteria surrounding fictional content on places like Twitter.
Yeah, I remember when this character like dropped for like when the Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime dropped. People were seething on Twitter because she is like has like a like cute and like petite look. It is interesting.
Where a lot of people have gotten improper definitions of these terms, and again, I would imagine a lot of the people working on Twitch staff probably have similar bits of misinformation guiding them on these terms, and you couple that with the fact that they're using a very subjective phrase like childlike appearance to judge these VTubers and possibly ban their accounts. In fact, there's also this language about sexual framing, and we have an idea, I guess, of what that might entail. Apparently, it sounds like Fallen Shadow's first ban back in July might have been based on this reason, because she had a toggle to show her VTuber model's feet. And by the way, also designed to resemble herself in real life because she's very petite. So basically, Twitch is calling her a child, which is a very odd thing. But anyways, the
Stop infantilizing younger looking women. Stop doing that. There is no reason to do that.
next rule is also adding some clarification. It's the attire policy, basically saying that the attire of your VTuber model is under the same standards as face cameras, which is not something people were unaware of.
It is not still it is not. We have seen like the example like in the beginning. It is not nowhere near the same for IRL women. The truth is, Twitch can pimp out VTubers. Because like all these things that you can like see here that are written here, IRL streamers do show these. Double standards.
But there's one important new piece of information that might have gotten a lot of VTubers banned recently, which is hips. You have to cover up the hips of your VTuber model, which is definitely one of the reasons why so many VTubers have been getting suspended recently, because they have been showing their hips under the false assumption that it was allowed.
Oh yeah, by the way, they banned people before this was a thing, which means that they banned people that were basically did not know that hips were a problem because they never stated that hips were a problem.
And the problem is, up until now, Twitch doesn't give actual specific reasons that you are banned. They only give you a general reason, like sexual content, but they don't tell you what exactly was wrong with your VTuber model that got you in trouble in the first place. And for a lot of people, it definitely was this.
This wouldn't be nearly as bad if like they made like a what's the word? A like time period where VTubers had time to adjust to these changes before updating it. Because a lot of VTubers who like commissioned art or models, this includes art by the way, this includes art. This does not only include the VTuber, it also includes art. And a lot of people commissioned art or models that now are not, that they can now basically throw into the trash, spend a lot of money on, and they have to recommission art. Isn't that interesting? I think a VTuber needs a hijab too, yeah. This is like the invasion of like the Middle East on Twitch. Again, the only VTubers.
This hip coverage rule that people just flat out weren't aware of. And on top of that, you see a very weird addition right here, saying these guidelines, referring to attire, apply to VTuber models, but not video game characters, including those uploaded into games such as VR chat.
Which is very interesting. That's very interesting. You know why? There is barely no difference. There's barely no difference between a VTuber and a model in VR chat. Like, I could take my V right now and throw it into VR chat. There is no difference. Zero.
Which, as Camilla points out here, this is very, very bizarre. What is the difference between a VTuber model, a 2D VTuber model uploaded through VTube Studio, for example, versus a 3D model through VR chat? Like, what is the difference? Why is one getting additional rules than the other? It makes no sense. And also, they use the VR chat example because they say it's like you're playing a video game.
This is pretty much almost completely naked. There's not much left for this like model. Nothing. And I'm not saying that Twitch shouldn't be more like desexualized. But if you are making policies like that, apply to everyone. It isn't that difficult. Apply to everyone.
Well, I'm using VTube Studio, which is considered a video game by Steam, for example, and that's how I get this model right here that you're looking at now. So why is this so much different than VR chat? It's very confusing, and also it leads way to someone possibly just getting a 3D VTuber model and then just claiming it's in VR chat. And
to be fair, you can't moderate VR chat. I mean, other users. Yeah, true. You can't moderate other users. But it's not about like other users. It's about you, the streamer.
And is Twitch supposed to somehow enforce that? I'm not sure. But anyways, a lot of people are starting to
I have not seen this yet. Pippa completely covered. This is just Pippa. This is wild. This is wild that somebody made this.
come up with Twitch appropriate VTuber models, and all jokes aside, this is what it feels like for some people. The rules are extra for VTubers when you have stuff like this existing and being promoted on the platform. I can barely even show you any of these screenshots because everything is so explicit. They talk about sexual framing in the rules about VTubers, but talk about
So here, almost completely naked, game barely visible, camera on the butt is vibrating. Okay, and I can see hips also.
Here. The framing of the game.
Oh yeah, right. That's considered a tub stream because of this little hot tub with the cow. Right, of course. You know what I saw on Twitter? Somebody saying that Twitch should apply the same rules to these streamers, and like people saying that they should do this. Also, you know what that means? You know what that means? What that person said? That people were basically saying, hey, this should also then be, like, covered up? That it's misogynistic. Ah, yes. The mostly female VTubing community being misogynistic. Oh, okay, of course. Yeah, it makes sense. It's like saying, gay people can be homophobic, but what do I know?
The rest is all just a ploy to exploit the hot tub rules where cam girls like this simply just toss an inflatable pool in the corner of their room, which allows them to wear very skimpy bikinis and even have a camera dedicated to being pointed at their behind, which is
again and then just glorified sex workers.
Basically,
these people could never be successful on any other website except Twitch.
Only a thong, so you're seeing just about everything, and that's allowed. This is a very popular trend right now for a lot of cam girls on Twitch. This is somehow allowed, but then we have all these draconian extra rules for VTubers, and that's the issue. It's the enforcement of these rules on top of that, and some people just don't get that, and I don't understand. You have tweets like this saying, VTubers wanted to be treated similarly to FleshTubers. Twitch updated their policies to reflect that. Now VTubers don't want that. Help me understand.
This person, and I saw that tweet, did not understand, because they did not look into this, that we are not, like, female VTubers are not being treated the same. I can't speak for male VTubers, because most of us dudes, we don't, like, sexualize ourselves in that way. So I cannot comment on that. I guess the heterosexual dudes, not necessarily the femboys and stuff. They do their own thing. But female VTubers are not treated to the same standard as female IRL streamers.
Help me
again, and I'm saying that these cam girls should not be on Twitch in the first place.
Understand how someone in the VTubing scene doesn't understand why VTubers are so upset. It's about the enforcement of the rules. Even if the rules were 1-to-1 for FleshTubers versus VTubers, it's the enforcement of those rules. It's clearly bias towards cam girls. VTubers are punished. They have the book thrown at them every time they have a possible violation, but cam girls get away with just about anything, and their punishments are nowhere near what VTubers get. I have seen Now, over the past couple of months, multiple VTubers get week-long or month-long suspensions for their hips showing on their model, and yet only 2 years ago we have examples like
2 years ago, a Twitch streamer basically got back shots on Twitch, and she was banned for 7 days and then unbanned after 7 days. No, she was basically banned and then unbanned after 7 days. We have other people again, like Amaranth being nuked and then basically returning shortly after.
Like this, where a cam girl literally had intercourse on camera and only got a 1-week suspension. In fact, there are multiple OnlyFans girls on Twitch who are working on their 13th, 14th, or even 15th ban on Twitch, and yet they have never served a suspension longer than 3 days. Please explain to me how any of this makes sense. Well, a lot of people are also looking at these new rules or these clarifications, and they're saying, wait, here's a Twitch W right here. And they're referring to this part about swim and beaches, concerts, and festivals. To sum it up, basically they're making it clear that if you properly flag your content as being a pool, hot tubs, and beaches category, you can have even more revealing outfits. And that's something that is already being taken advantage of by a lot of cam girls on the website. But I point this out because it all...
So wait, even more? So they made it worse? Camera focus is still to focus around full coverage of buttocks is not required, but camera focus around them is still subject to our sexual content policy. What were those last two examples? Not camera on your behind? That wasn't the focus? Oh yeah, right. The screen is smaller, which is why it's not the focus. Oh, I see. Interesting. Yeah, makes sense.
So
totally.
Ridiculous. All these hoops that they're making for these rules and these exceptions they're trying to create. So are you telling me, based on this, if Zentreya had a PNG of a beach in the background of her stream, she wouldn't have gotten in trouble for wearing that one-piece swimsuit?
Pretty much,
it make sense. This is why those cam girls are taking advantage of the pools and hot tubs rule by just putting a blow-up pool in the corner of the room and saying, yep, now I can wear a bikini and do whatever I want. That's who's going to take advantage of these clarifications. But now you're just showing how fickle and complicated all these rules are for seemingly no reason. And on top of that, there's another rule I want to cover here, which really just goes the next level. It says, static or slightly animated artwork for scenes such as stream starting, be right back, and stream ending artwork must follow all of our guidelines. And
so you basically, if you had art commission that showed your hips, you need to recommission art again. Yeah, that hurts.
And based on my interpretation, it sounds like they're saying that sort of artwork has to follow the attire policy too, which is insane. So now the artwork of your BRB screen has to follow these extra clarifications.
Pretty much,
it's really an insane standard, and also one that seems to disproportionately target VTubers. A lot of face cammers, they have animated BRB screens and stuff like that, but I think there's a much higher proportion of VTubers who have those, especially featuring their own VTuber models. So once again,
what can I say about this? A lot of IRL streamers, they don't really have that kind of artwork stuff. So it's kind of yeah, this is specifically for VTubers. Again, I'm telling y'all, I am absolutely telling you all that this is specifically targeted at VTubers. They are actually targeting.
This rule,
they're not even hiding it.
VTubers a lot harder than your traditional cam streamer, which is again showing that they have it out for VTubers. And overall, it's not just obvious that the enforcement is different. A lot of people are actively ignoring that there are extra rules for VTubers. There's a lot of them, and a lot of very subjective and open-ended ones that could...
It's also interesting that there's a lot of VTubers who basically like defend Twitch on this, and then like basically acting like they would die for this company. Content creators, these platforms are not your friends. They are in its core. They are still technically your boss. Don't treat them like your friends. Don't treat them with any loyalty, because you're gonna get punished for it. You wouldn't be loyal to a company in real life. Why are you loyal to a company online? You know what I'm saying?
Really be applied to a very high portion of VTubers if given if these rules are being applied by a particular person on the Twitch staff. They can really bend some of those rules involving VTubers to punish just about anyone or label their content as childlike or something like that. And I think it's a very dangerous road that we're all going to see unfold in front of us. I think some of these clarifications are going to be abused by the Twitch staff who already clearly have it out for VTubers. And I think on top of that, the enforcement continues to be hypocritical. And there's no overlooking this stuff. It is just pure hypocrisy.
Again, it wouldn't be such a huge problem if they just wiped the floor with everyone that broke TOS. They are not doing that.
Cam streamers are treated completely differently than VTubers, and now we know some of the clarifications as to why that might be happening and how so many of these cam streamers are getting away with behavior that would normally get a VTuber temporarily suspended or even worse. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topic.
I'm saying that having a less sexual Twitch is good. The double standards, however, on VTubers and IRL streamers, I'm not saying VTubers, I'm saying specifically female VTubers and female IRL streamers, because that's who is competing here, really. Male VTubers aren't really competing most of the time, I would say. I have to say that this is wrong, the double standards on this. Again, I think they updated the policies again, where they also oddly... That was oddly specific. I said it before, but I'm saying it again. That was oddly specific. They updated the policies to state that you are not allowed to suggest that somebody's only popular because of their sexual content, and you are also not allowed to suggest the idea that Twitch is taking sexual favors of their like those cam girls, basically. That's oddly specific, but who knows? I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. There's clearly an agenda against VTubers.